These are the scariest moments in the Super Mario universe. Now, when you look at Mario, you immediately start thinking about the jumping and the yahoos, running from level to level in colorful landscapes, jumping on enemies, and saving the princess. But throughout the last 30 years, with tons of different games to go through from various different genres, Mario has actually seen some horrifying stuff. The Mushroom Kingdom isn't as happy-go-lucky as the rest of the world would hope. Moments throughout the games that seem like they would be more in line with a Final Fantasy entry. I love going through games that are genuinely an overall positive experience and finding all the creepy stuff hidden in their closets. And this is going to range from all the mainline stuff to all of his RPG ventures, as Mario has traveled across the globe for tons of his different journeys. For this video, I took 10 moments throughout the games and decided to put them all together. These moments that had me sitting there and wondering, this happens in a Mario game? This is the same man who falls asleep and whispers Italian dishes in his dreams.
Spaghetti.
We'll be exploring the supernatural, the creepy, and the overall spooky to narrow them all down. But before I get into it, let me know in the comment section below. What's your all-time favorite Mario game? I would literally have to sit in a council meeting of myself to determine which one I think is the best. I'd probably go with Super Mario World or Super Mario Odyssey personally. Heck, Odyssey even got me into speedrunning for a little bit there. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit that like button. Each one provides Mario with another one-up so he can avoid his certain death. But here we go. These are the 10 scariest moments in the Super Mario universe. I'll give credit where credit is due. Paper Mario, the Origami King can set a tone when it wants to. While newer Mario games are much lighter on the story, the Origami King knows how to avoid music to set up a scene. A big part of this game is King Ollie turning all of the Mushroom Kingdom residents into folded soldiers. Doing this causes them to join King Ollie, relinquishing all of their free will. In the opening cutscene of the game, Folded Peach walks out with no music playing and only talks in slow text. They're really building up King Ollie, as his plans are to turn everyone into a folded soldier. In the earlier moments, Bowser has even been kidnapped and is folded up using a rope. And while he's stuck there, Mario can see him through the crack in the wall and his minions getting tortured on the other side. A big thing for this is Bowser is literally begging and pleading for his minions while all of their free will is being wiped away. I also love how in this moment Olivia is like, "What did you see? Nothing terrifying, I hope. Nothing crazy, just a Koopa being turned into a mindless zombie right in front of their own boss." Folded soldiers appear all over Origami King, so it's a bit jarring knowing that they're all doing this against their free will. There's also the moment where Ollie just decides to kill them all because of their incompetence.
Later, losers. You know I'm sexy.
I'm not really a huge fan of this game, but these are still very cool and super messed up moments for a Mario game. Back in 1996, Mario debuted in his first full 3D adventure. I was just born in this year, so I guess you could say that was my debut as well.
Here we go!
When completing the Eel Come Out and Play challenge in Jolly Roger Bay, it's up to the players to dive into the depths of the sea to find a star, only to find that this star is hidden directly behind this nightmare fuel. The eel itself looks like it crawled right out of a horror film. The way it opens up its mouth to show you all of its terrifying teeth. You're supposed to get the eel to come outside and grab the star that's attached to his tail. While fighting the incoming damage from the eel itself, you also have to worry about drowning. So this entire star is just an anxiety attack waiting to happen. Obviously, the tech is to grab the star right as it comes out of the tunnel, but you can miss, and you will need to chase all around to finally get it. I mentioned the eel from Super Mario 64 specifically because the modern Mario games gave it a much cleaner redesign, which looks a lot less scary when compared to the original. There's just something about those beady white eyes. It kinda came back in Super Mario Odyssey, but Super Mario 64 is where all the trauma begins. Jumping back into Super Mario 3D Land, this was the massive release for the 3DS, finding a balance between the classic 2D game level design with full 3D controls. It was kept faithful to all the other Mario things. We got the field level, the snow, the desert, and of course, the ghost house. For this, there is a spooky ghost figure that can be located at the end of each ghost house. It's located right next to the flagpole and will only appear for a few seconds. Once it despawns, you'll need to restart the level or die to make it appear again. The big thing with this one is the overall design of this figure, being more in line with the traditional human figure versus the normal Mario proportions that we're used to. Nintendo could have easily made it a Boo or a Luigi Mansion type ghost, but this is very much in a human figure to freak out players with keen eyes. Funny enough, you first encounter this figure in level 4-4, as 4-4 is the first ghost house Mario makes an appearance in. In Japan, the number 4 is associated with death, since 4 can be pronounced sometimes as she, which would translate to death. Kinda like how the number 13 is considered bad luck here in the West. Certain buildings might not even have a 4th floor labeled, so it would just go 2, 3, 5, 6, and so on. So for World 4-4 to be the first one to show off this spooky figure seems right on brand for me. I want to start by saying that Super Paper Mario is underrated as heck and would be easily considered one of the best Paper Mario games if it stuck with the traditional turn-based combat. Anyways, this game is full of messed up moments, but let's start with Chapter 2. As Mario is on his mission to collect the pure hearts, he appears in a mansion in Gloom Valley. To prevent Mario from getting deeper into the mansion, Mimi, who is disguised as a maid, sends him through various tasks. Mario, being the absolute unit he is able to complete them and confront Mimi. Once she's discovered, she reveals her true form, and it still sends chills down my spine to this day. Not only does she snap her own neck, she spins it around like she's part of the Exorcist. But then it goes even further beyond by getting giant spider legs to crawl out, picking up this small child's body and moving it around to attack Mario. In this next sequence, you can't even fight Mimi. You are forced to run through the mansion, panicking through each door, not knowing if the exit is on the other side. So it's a lot of guessing where to go while Mimi is in hot pursuit. And if she gets too close, a giant text box is right there and she's just gonna jump scare you. Easily one of the most anxiety-inducing moments in Super Paper Mario. But honestly, this whole section could have just been based on her design alone. For her to go from this cute, adorable child to this nightmarish monstrosity, the designers kind of went crazy when making this one. As for another character design that is just complete nightmare fuel, take a look at Behemoth. A combination of the word Behemoth and the Ghost Boo enemies, this one takes the cake. Debuting in New Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Nintendo 3DS, it will appear within 2 of the ghost houses and takes up a good chunk of the screen. It will constantly pursue you, but in its timid nature will turn around if Mario is looking directly at them. Although there's no way to actually kill this thing. The star and even the white raccoon suit is still too weak to end this thing, meaning the only way to deal with it is to run. I think the thing that freaks me out the most is that this thing has normal looking teeth. Like if you look at the Boos, they usually have sharp fangs instead. This looks like he got some veneers. And I think the idea of this thing having pupils hidden behind those dark abyss he calls eyes, being in a combination with the ghost having a double chin, I know this dude is gonna take a massive chomp out of Mario. It's not too bad to actually deal with the levels since the game is super forgiving, but I do think now I will see the Behemoth in my dreams. That stare is just way too much. Leaning into Super Mario Odyssey, this next one scared me because it didn't even feel like the right game. Like, this is a Mario level. And this is a Mario level. This is Dark Souls. The entire vibe for the Ruined Kingdom is just so jarring when compared to the rest of the game, acting as a location where Mario crash lands on his journey to rescue the princess. Even looking at the level itself, you can see how much Mario stands out with his color palette. There's destroyed structures in every direction with not a sign of life being around. Even the pamphlets of the game talk about how the residents of the Ruined Kingdom originally tried to harness the power of lightning, but its strength was too much as the lightning destroyed everything with its unrelenting strength. And that's not even talking about the hyper-realistic dragon that you need to fight. Its textures and color effects are unlike anything we've seen in the game. This entire sequence feels like it was pulled right out of Elden Ring, and I think that's what made it stand out so much on my first playthrough. Are all the residents of this kingdom gone because of this dragon? Or was it the lightning storms that made this place uninhabitable? You're only in this level for a handful of moons, but it's still one of the most unsettling locations to appear in a Mario game. We're back in Super Paper Mario, and this game has the gall to do something very impressive. Mario in general is always supposed to show up and save the day. That's kind of the point of these games, is to control this happy man and save the world. But in Super Paper Mario, they showed us an example of what happens if Mario is just too late. In Chapter 6, the Samus Kingdom, the Dark Void has nearly engulfed the sky. To follow the laws of this land and claim the Pure Heart, Mario would need to defeat 99 combatants in battle. Me thinking it's just gonna be another combat chapter this time around. After the first few fights, the void gets even bigger and the contestants start to get worried. So much so that they allowed Mario to pass without fighting because things are just that dire. Once Mario reaches the 30th gate, it finally happens. We see the void completely engulf the entire world and our heroes are sent back to Flipside. Jumping back into the Samus Kingdom door places Mario into a deep white void. All of the life and energy that used to be here in this location is now completely wiped from existence. Then they make you walk the distance, seeing the occasional rubble of the society that used to be there. And then it goes on for quite a while. You have to sit in this void and consider the error of your ways. Would all of these people still be alive if I were a bit faster? I think it's hardcore as heck for a Mario game to just clear out so many lives like that in an instant. And it also showed the player that the ending void is truly a threat that will come for all of the known universe eventually. Super Paper Mario is really that game sometimes. So this one isn't directly a part of the game, but something fans have noticed and pointed out. And when you look at the game itself, it's not too far-fetched to think about it. So the first Luigi's Mansion game is easily the scariest when it comes to the tone. The environments are a lot darker and there's a better sense of creepy ambience for this entry. When Luigi enters the attic of the mansion, there will be a phone ringing in the room. The conversation will be between Luigi and a toad talking about how the lightning took out all the power. Although if you wait a while, the lightning will appear and cast a shadow of Luigi on the wall. If you look closely, it almost looks like Luigi's body is just hanging there. There's no motion in his arms and he looks like he's attached to the ceiling, hinting at the potential that Luigi might have taken his own life in this house. And the entire game is just something that's happening in his head right before the Great Beyond. While this is pretty intense for a Nintendo game, it turns out this is just something with the lighting engine. On the original game, this just seems like it's a glitch, as the Nintendo 3DS remake of the game has this shadowy figure completely removed, since the new game has an entirely new lightning engine to be working with. Still, this is one of those accidents that seems to be a little bit too on the nose, as if a rebellious Nintendo employee decided to put it in to crank up the eeriness. Regardless, Luigi's hanging shadow is definitely up there with one of the scariest moments in the series. For our final trip into Paper Mario, we're heading into the 1,000-year door. So I'm gonna put a spoiler warning for this one since the game is being remade for the Nintendo Switch, and it's coming out in 2024, so many players will actually want to experience this moment when they actually get to play the game, since it takes place during the final battle. You can skip ahead to this timestamp if you don't want to be spoiled, but for those who know what I'm talking about, it happens at the end of the battle. In the battle against the Shadow Queen, she uses her dark powers against Mario. Although when she's at her final bit of HP, she completely shifts the tide of battle. In a last-ditch effort to get some heals, she uses her shadow hands to reach out into the crowd and drags everyone inside into the depths, where their energy is instantly converted and fully restores the Shadow Queen back to full HP. In the 1,000-year door, the crowd that appears before every battle can alter the tides, occasionally offering up Mario some healing items or potential damage towards foes. They are an active part of battle instead of just being in the audience that's watching. So to see them all get brutally murdered and sucked to their life force during the final battle, yeah, that's super messed up. It's at this moment that it seems like all hope is lost. I feel bad for all the people in the crowd that just came here to see an entertaining show. Now certain Koopa families no longer have their father with them, because she decided to turn them into juice. The thing that gets me is their little screams right before being sent to the Shadow Realm. The 1,000-year door is really the GOAT for this one. And for my scariest moment in all of the Super Mario universe, that one moment that has stuck with me because of the fear it put into my heart as a small child. Do I even need to play any more of this clip? If you've played Super Mario 64, which I feel like mostly everyone has at this point, you know the true feeling of fear. When exploring Big Boo's haunt, you'll come across an empty room with a piano. If you get too close, the piano will lunge at the player with its sharp teeth. I think it's overall the psycho sound that comes from the piano that really sells it. And there's no way to kill this thing. The only reason you're coming into this room in the first place is to get that red coin hidden behind the piano. But when you walked in, you got generations worth of trauma coming from that piano. I don't know a single person who wasn't caught by this the first time they played. It stuck with me as the scariest moment in all of the Mario universe. But yes, these are 10 moments that I deem super duper scary for Mario. I mean, they aren't super scary. It's Mario after all. But it's interesting to see how far they're willing to send this Italian plumber. He is just a symbol of bravery that will leap into any situation without hesitation. Because I know damn well if I saw this dragon, my heart would be flying out of my chest. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for Nintendo videos you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. I love me some Mario, but there's also some Zelda and Pikmin. I'm gonna give the whole universe a gander for future videos. Thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and stay awesome.